If you're feeling like you're constantly trying to be more visible, but it's still not turning into the right business opportunities, I want you to consider something. Perhaps visibility is not the missing piece of the puzzle. Maybe it's just the wrong fix for the issue you actually have. Because most business advice aimed at women is very loud and very repetitive. And it goes along the lines of post more, show up more, be consistent, get your face out there, keep reminding people what you do, build trust, add value, stay visible. It's very hard and almost quite aggressive. Now, I'm not saying that visibility doesn't matter, because of course it does. People need to know that you exist. They need to understand what you do. They need to hear your thinking and build some form of trust with you. But visibility is not the same thing as lead generation. And that distinction matters. Because when business feels quiet, a lot of women automatically assume that they need to be more visible. If sales feel slow, they post more. If inquiries go quiet, they create more content. If conversations are not converting, they explain more. If they feel forgotten, they push themselves to show up again. But sometimes the problem is not that not enough people are seeing you. Sometimes it's simply that the wrong people are seeing you, or the right people are not being intentionally identified. Perhaps your content is being asked to carry the entire weight of your business development because there's no clearer lead finding process underpinning it. And when that happens, well, visibility becomes exhausting. That's not because you're lazy or lack discipline. It's because you're trying to solve a lead generation problem with more personal output. Now, inside AI Alchemy this month, I'm talking about boundaries, capacity, and sustainable growth. And the line underneath all of it is that growth that costs your health is not success. That's not just a nice phrase, it's a filter for your business. Because if your growth plan requires you to be constantly visible, constantly available, constantly creating and explaining, nurturing, trying to warm up vague people to become clients, then the cost of that growth is your capacity. And your capacity is not endless, especially for women who are running businesses around real life. And that can look like children, school runs, households, client delivery, caring responsibilities, family admin, health appointments, laundry, the dreaded laundry, dinner, emails, all the things that just appear from nowhere and somehow still become your responsibility. So when someone says, just be more visible, I think we need to ask, visible to who? For what purpose? At what cost? Because more visibility is not automatically more opportunity. More visibility sometimes can just mean more noise, more people watching but not buying, more comments to interpret, more messages, vague messages to mentally track, more pressure to keep showing up, content to create, proof to provide, and emotional output. And if the audience isn't well matched to your offer, more visibility can actually make the business feel even heavier. And that is the part I want to talk about. Because visibility advice often assumes that the main problem is exposure. It assumes that if more people see you, more people will buy. And fair, sometimes that is true. If your offer is clear, your audience is aligned, and the right people are close enough, more visibility will help. But if the audience is vague, more visibility is not the answer. If people see your content, but they're not at the right stage, or they don't have the problem you solve, or they don't value the outcome you provide, or they're simply not aligned with your way of working, then more visibility does not solve your problem. It merely amplifies it. You become more visible to people who are still not a good fit. And because the results are not changing, you start thinking you need to do even more. So you post more, explain more, share more personal stories, educate harder, be more direct, be more polished, be more consistent, be more everything. And before long, your business growth is being paid for with your energy. And that is the visibility trap. You feel productive because you're showing up. You feel like you're doing the work because you're creating. You feel like you're being consistent because your content is going out. But underneath, the lead flow is vague. You still don't know who your best fit people are. You still don't have a focused list of potential opportunities. You're still relying on the algorithm, timing, and sheer hope. You're still waiting to see who responds. And if nobody responds, you have to start the whole emotional cycle again. What do I post next? Did I say it wrong? Is my offer not clear? Should I change the hook? Should I be more personal? Should I lower my price? Do I create something new? This is how women end up diagnosing themselves as the problem when actually the system is the problem. It's unclear. A cleaner diagnosis might be along the lines of, well, maybe the offer is fine and your content is good. Maybe you're not lacking commitment. Perhaps the issue is that you don't have enough good fit people in your conversation. And that is a much, much calmer place to begin. Because then the question changes. It's no longer, how do I make myself more visible to everybody? And instead, it becomes, how do I get in front of the right people? And that is not the same question. One creates pressure, the other creates focus. One asks for more of you, the other simply asks for precision. And that's why better leads matter. Of course, better leads don't guarantee instant sales, but they do remove the need for trust, content, follow up, and human connection. But they change the starting point. And the starting point matters. If you start with vague leads, you spend a lot of your energy trying to create relevance. Explain more, educate, nurture. You answer questions from people who are perhaps curious but not ready. You give free advice to people who like your brain but don't want your offer. You treat every bit of attention as a potential opportunity, and that gets heavy. But if you start with better fit leads, you're not beginning from scratch. You're starting with people who are more likely to have a problem, more likely to value the outcome you provide, to understand your content, and to be relevant to your offer. Now, that's not guaranteed, but it is more focused. And that difference matters enormously when you're trying to protect your capacity. Now, at the moment, I am very aware of this because I'm looking ahead to the school summer holidays. I'm trying to use my time now so that the business is not hanging over every day that I want to be spending with my children. I don't want to be physically present but mentally absent. I don't want to be at the park or on a day out or making lunch while sort of silently thinking, oh, I need to post something. I should find some leads. I should follow up with that person. I should explain that offer again. That is not the kind of business I'm interested in building. And I know that's not the kind of business many women want either. We don't want to build businesses so that they can become another demanding dependent. We build businesses because we want freedom, autonomy, purpose, choice, breathing room. But if the strategy relies on constant visibility without clear lead generation, the business can quietly start taking all of that back away from us. It takes your evenings, your attention, your ability to switch off. It can make you feel guilty when you're resting and guilty when you're working. So let's make this practical. How do you know if you're trying to solve a lead problem with visibility? You're posting consistently, but you still don't know who your actual prospects are. People engage, but don't move towards the inquiry stage or sales. You keep creating more content to explain the same offer, to give away too much free advice because people seem interested. You rely on hope, algorithms, and timing. Business development lives mostly in your head. You feel anxious when you're not visible. You're not sure who to approach directly. If any of that feels familiar, I wouldn't have immediately tell you to become more visible. I'd tell you to get clearer. Get clearer about who your offer is really for, about who is a better fit lead. Get clear about where these people are likely to be, about how you identify them, how your client supports the process rather, how your content rather supports the process rather than replaces it. Because visibility should support lead generation. It should not be the whole show. And that is exactly where my Connection Scout fits in, because Connection Scout finds you tailored leads matched to your unique niche defined by you. That is its job. It is not a relationship management system. It's not an outreach automation. It's not a promise of instant clients. It's not a magic wand. Sadly, I can't give you that. But it does help you stop starting from a blank page. Because for a lot of women, the draining part is not actually the conversation itself, it's the finding, figuring out who is relevant, the manual searching, second guessing, wondering whether someone is a good fit or just vaguely adjacent. It's trying to create business opportunities while also carrying everything else. Connection Scout gives you a cleaner list of better fit people to begin with. So your business development doesn't have to rely entirely on posting and hoping. And that is so important. It's like a bit of relief, because hope is not a growth system that's going to get you very far. Algorithms are not a growth system. Being consistently visible is not a growth system. It can all play a role, but they can't be the only plan. A calmer growth system needs more than output. It needs direction, lead clarity, a better starting point. It needs to respect the capacity of the woman running the business. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. You don't need more visibility at any cost. You need visibility with direction. You need better fit leads. You need a business growth system that doesn't require you to keep throwing more of yourself at the internet in the vague hope that somebody's going to catch you. Now, if this has made you realize that posting more is not the answer, start with a better question and ask yourself, who should I actually be talking to? That question is where a calmer growth system begins. And if you want support finding tailored leads matched to your unique niche, the details for Connection Scout will be somewhere below this video. Because your business does not need more of your energy scattered everywhere. It needs a clearer route to the right people.